The president announced that he has had enough of living in a crime-ridden dump. Trump invoking Section 740 of the D.C. Home Rule Act, giving him control of the city's police force and its 3,500 police officers. And this comes after yet another D.C. shooting at the Navy Yard this weekend, and these are just what were in the headlines here. A young teen firing into a crowd. Police all over that. A large group of teens ransacking a store on Saturday as well. And, of course, a gang of teen punks, teenagers as well, attacking one of the smartest members of Doge, Ed Korestein, known as Big Balls, 8 days ago. Just some of the headlines we've seen, and that doesn't cover all the crime that D.C. has seen in just last week. The murder rate in our nation's capital currently 5 to 10 times higher than cities like Nairobi, Kenya, and Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Think about that for a second. 5 times higher than Nairobi, Kenya is the murder rate in Washington, D.C. It's pitiful. It's a joke that we even put up with this. The National Guard now being called in to bring stability back to the city. Troops will be visible in the coming days, according to the defense secretary. And Trump, whose personal homes are in the very idyllic locations of Bedminster, New Jersey, and Palm Beach, Florida, is clearly no longer willing to live in a dangerous dump. Take a listen.
I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back. It's becoming a situation of complete and total lawlessness. And we're getting rid of the slums, too. We have slums here. We're getting rid of them. I know it's not politically correct. You'll say, oh, so terrible. No, we're getting rid of the slums where they live.
Yeah, because who wants to live amongst crime and filth? Well, I guess the Democrat Party, but who really wants to live in that? And aware of the room that he was speaking in, the president actually leveled with the rest of the room, the left-wing reporters that were all filming him and watching him, who are all very familiar themselves with D.C. crime.
You people are victims of it, too. You know, you're reporters, and I understand a lot of you tend to be on the liberal side, but you don't want to get mugged and raped and shot and killed. And you all know people and friends of yours that happened. And so you can be anything you want, but you want to have safety in the streets. You want to be able to leave your apartment or your house where you live and feel safe and go into a store to buy a newspaper or buy something. And you don't have that now.
No, you don't. So today was Trump at his very best. If you didn't watch this news conference, you should have. Calling out crime and grime that we can all see and promising a no BS solution from a guy who likes to get things done and get them done fast. This is what America is starved for. But the American left and Democrats have been trying to convince you that the problem he's talking about just doesn't exist. What was described today in that news conference, what we see in Washington, what news reporters and everyone else sees every single day that they live there, what residents see all the time, that problem exists in most of the big blue cities in this country. It is a total indictment of their politics, which mandate that we all must live in squalor for some reason, equal poverty and misery for all. Why do we have to live that way, is what the president asks, and we don't. You just don't have to live that way. These cities can be beautiful and clean and fun and exciting at the same time. The new U.S. Attorney for D.C., Jeanine Pirro, brought it all home, highlighting the disaster that has become of inner-city black culture and little kids who are raised terribly, most of whom don't have fathers, and become monsters by their early teens. That is the real pandemic in Washington, D.C. So much of this crime is by 15, 16-year-old kids that have absolutely no semblance of family at all. Nearly half the robberies, half the carjackings are teens, and many of them look like little kids, early in high school, if they're even going to school. Remember in 2021 when 2 little girls tried to carjack an Uber driver? These girls were 13 and 15. The driver ended up dying in a crash while trying to speed away with his door open. The scene was horrific. A 13-year-old girl and a 15-year-old girl did this. That is the reality of D.C. today. Here's Jeanine Pirro.
I see too much violent crime being committed by young punks who think that they can get together in gangs and crews and beat the hell out of you or anyone else. They don't care where they are. They can be in DuPont Circle, but they know that we can't touch them. Why? Because the laws are weak.
She was fantastic. She stole the show today. No more empathy. The law is the law. Without a tough response, we're just going to see more victims and more death. Not that anybody that runs that city seems to care. What Trump is trying to do is the most humane answer, as he's vilified for it. Democrats are the villains, able to ignore loads of dead black kids without a care in the world. It's amazing how many dead black kids the Democrat Party can ignore. Impressively, Trump has managed to win over D.C.'s mayor, Muriel Bowser, which probably shocks a lot of people, who's been on television admitting that her city kind of needs this.
There's more to do. We need judges. You heard Jeanine Pirro says she needs prosecutors, and we need police in D.C. I'd like to hire 500 great people over the course of the next several years to get our numbers where they need to be.
Speaking to two really pissed off hosts on MSNBC that couldn't believe what they were hearing. She's game, and that's a really big deal in this process. Although, to be fair, the president is not buying her narrative from that soundbite that D.C. just needs more cops.
Sir, they've requested more police. Oh, what do they have? About 3,500. I said, 3,500? This is not a big area. It's ridiculous. What you need is rules and regulations, and you need the right people to implement them. And we have the right people here, that I can tell you.
It's ridiculous. And that's exactly right. It's not about more cops. It's about implementing the law and actually prosecuting people after you arrest them, so criminals once again become scared to commit crime because they actually think they might end up going to jail. But as Muriel Bowser falls in line with law and order, others in the Democrat Party are still in denial of all of this, holding the line, still pretending that everything is fine and Trump's just a dictator. As their radical politics destroy our society, Hillary decides to chime in with a tweet. By the way, she doesn't allow anybody to comment on her tweets, which is so insecure, writing that Trump is unhinged and D.C. crime is at a 30-year low. This is what all of the left media has been screaming all day, desperate to protect D.C.'s radically left-wing government from getting what they deserve and the criticisms they deserve. MSNBC's deep state typist Ken Delanian claiming that Trump used false and misleading statistics about crime in D.C., which Delanian also says are at historic lows because D.C. is just amazing. He would know, he lives there. It's such a beautiful, safe place to live, Ken. Do you even lock your door? This is the propaganda they need you to believe. That narrative, that comment that you just heard from both of them is everywhere today. I could show you 1,000 examples. All to protect the agenda of the ideology they worship. Because if D.C. really is crime-ridden, that means their politics have failed. And that's exactly what's happening. Again, this is an indictment of their politics nationwide. Every major city has this problem. They're failing. They have failed. But here's how the city is described, Washington, D.C. is described by locals who have no political agenda.
It's funky, it stinks, the stores are dirty, and I don't know what we're going to do.
There are pockets in D.C. that are significantly out of control. We have school zones that are drug-infested neighborhoods.
Some shots, some bangs. We've seen police officers running in all directions.
I almost feel a little desensitized to it in a way because it seems to be of the norm.
Yeah, that's the reality. But as we know, there's a million ways to play with crime stat numbers for political benefit, and they're experts at that in places like Washington, D.C., and that's exactly how Hillary and all the other lefties are trying to dupe Americans into believing that radical left governments can actually bring you a safer city. Which is, I mean, we just look at the politics, it's the stupidest thing you've ever heard. Let's get rid of bail. Let's stop arresting people. It's all smoke and mirrors. Just a few months ago, a D.C. police commander was suspended, accused of changing crime stats. Michael Pulliam placed on paid administrative leave just in mid-May, a few months ago. The union claims police supervisors in the department are manipulating crime data to make it appear that violent crime has fallen considerably compared to last year. How much of that is going on? How much of that allows Hillary Clinton to say that crime is at historic lows when people are just getting shot all over the place and the city's filthy and everybody knows it? That's really how regimes inject their agenda, right? They just lie to your face. You can see it, but they just say it's not happening. They talk about how Trump's a tyrant. They're the tyrants. Very strange behavior for a police department in such a safe and thriving city to be screwing with the numbers. They got rid of the guy that did it. It's not a conspiracy theory. Record low crime, according to Ken Delaney and Hillary Clinton. Yeah, sure. Some credit here goes to an ABC News anchor who gives insight into just how dangerous it really is in what should be a very safe location of Washington, D.C., the location of a network news bureau, which is a very short 2-3 minute walk from Lafayette Square and the White House. Take a listen to this.
I can tell you firsthand here in downtown D.C. where we work, right here around our bureau, just in the past 6 months, there were 2 people shot. 1 person died, literally 2 blocks down here from the bureau. It was within the last 2 years that I actually was jumped walking just 2 blocks down from here. And then just this morning, one of my coworkers said her car was stolen a block away from the bureau.
That's a very busy block. Again, I mean, I could hit a golf ball to the White House from where she's talking about. Isn't that all you need to know right there? And the truth is, it'll never change unless this takeover happens, and it's happening. We'll keep seeing congressional staffers attacked, innocent people targeted while leaving restaurants, and a bunch of dead black kids peppered through the streets for years and years and years. And nobody in the state government seems to care. The city government. The left has barricaded itself into power in Washington, D.C., and they're able to manipulate all of this to make you think it's all just a delusion, and to make you think more so that if you live in a big city, this is just part of the deal, right? That we all have to live like this. That if you're going to be in a big city with a lot of different kinds of people in it, that there's just going to be a lot of crime and it's going to be dangerous, and that's just part of life. You don't have to live. Just because it's in every city, because every city in this country is blue, doesn't mean you have to live this way. It'll just decay further if you continue this way. Giuliani proved that we don't have to live this way. When I moved to New York, it was so damn safe I couldn't believe it. You could walk home through Brooklyn 2 in the morning. It didn't matter. Trump also making a comment that was very satisfying today to many of us, for those of us who feel immediate rage when we see these videos that you've seen a lot of the last few years. Radical, lawless protesters, anarchists, terrorists taunting our cops, spitting on them. We've seen way too much of this since George Floyd, and it's infuriating to watch. My blood boils when I see these people. And you just wish that cop could rear back and just level these people. Here was Trump's response today.
They love to spit in the face of the police as the police are standing up there in uniform. They're standing, and they're screaming at them an inch away from their face. And then they start spitting in their face. And I said, you tell them, you spit and we hit. And they can hit real hard. And they're standing there and people are spitting in their face and they're not allowed to do anything. But now they are allowed to do whatever the hell they want.
Damn right. Trump's message today will resonate because the anarchists in this country have gone too far. And for too many years, we've had to listen to this. And the fashionable years of vilifying law and order are long over now. Nobody is buying that nonsense anymore. Americans are ready to see society flex its control muscles and bring us back to some kind of sanity. We're tired of living in places like Washington, D.C. You're sick of hearing the stories. You realize you don't have to live this way, and you don't. You don't. Learn how to vote, Republicans in blue cities. Learn how to frickin' vote. Show up and vote. It's enough. We've all had enough. You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt tonight on Newsmax.